try the push wheel mower today, and it was invented in 1827. So, and we are now in a 18th century garden. We have the original designs from Carl Wilhelm Carlberg, and it shows that there were lawns in this garden before this existed. So how did they manage the lawns? That was one question that we had studied here at Gunnebo. And the answer that we found in historical sources was that it was a management regime with 3 tools. They had the scythe that we have practiced earlier in this workshop. They had the roller, and they had the birch broom. This is the historical equivalent to our plastic rakes today. So, and it started the day before mowing the lawn. You should go out. This is a very light roller. It is meant to be filled with water. I just have it here to illustrate. So the day before mowing, you go out with the roller and you roll the area that you are going to mow the next day. And that is so that the grass will have time to stand up again after rolling. So you roll the area to create an even lawn, and also that's one of the operations in order to protect the scythe blade from worm casts, because they would blunt the edge. So you push down all the worm casts on the lawn by using the roller the day before. And then the next morning, in the morning dew, the grass has raised again, so it's standing up. Then you mow the lawn with a scythe. And afterwards, the third thing that you do is to collect the clippings with the birch broom. And this tool was, there are several descriptions of how this was a typical tool that gardeners made in the winter time. So this was it's a good, nice tool that works pretty well, but it doesn't last so long. You wear them out quickly and you have to make new ones. So in the winter, gardeners used to make birch brooms. So these was the tools that they were using, and the frequency shifted. It was different. There are different descriptions in different countries, but it seems like the sources that I have found in Sweden tells that they used to mow the lawn with a scythe every 3rd week or so. When the vegetation was 10-12 centimeters high, it was time to mow the lawn. And it was important not to let the grass to produce seeds, so they took them before they were spreading their seeds. So that's and in the British sources it says that you should mow the lawn every 2nd week in some of the sources, and some sources even say once a week. So it's a much more intense frequency of mowing. So the roller, the scythe and the broom. And then in the late 19th century, the push wheel mower was introduced into Sweden. So this is a typical tool for the 20th century in Swedish gardens, at least. Yes, and then we have 2 other tools here for special operations. This is the turfing iron, and it should be sharpened here, so it should be sharp, a sharp blade, and it has a certain angle so that you can stand in a certain position and go and cut. You cut the grass not like with the edging iron, but this is a turfing iron, and there are descriptions that you should cut the lawn with the turfing iron. You bring the lawn from the pasture, so you take the best parts out in the pasture, and then you cut them with a turfing iron, and you bring them into the garden and construct your lawn. And you should cut it real thin, paper thin, André Mollet says, and the size of the sheet should be 1 foot wide and 3 foot long, 3 feet long, so that you could roll them together and carry them easily. But I will just show you a little example. This is this is just to take the material away, but it's how to use this. And sometimes when you demonstrate things, it works much worse than you can imagine. It doesn't work at all. Maybe it's not sharp enough, but well, it works. You can see that you can get the principle. It's a bit too thick, these slices. Yeah, if this is sharp,
yeah.
This is the one at Via that we tried in the other workshop, where it was like three pointed or four. Four. So it's not just one point, but 3 or 4 points. But it's also perhaps personal preference. I'm more used to this one. And then, so this is the turfing iron, and we haven't found it in Swedish sources, but they did make lawns and they did all the operations. Possibly they used ordinary spades to do this, but it's much harder because it's not the right angle. And then we have another strange tool that I wanted to show you, and it's this is just a rough reconstruction of a tool. This is the turf beater, and it's when you go out to the pasture and you find a nice piece of grass. And you cut it with a turfing iron, and you bring it into the garden and you put it into where you want to create a lawn, and then you hammer it into place with a turf beater. So you beat, and that's to when you have now I will just illustrate things for you, but when you put pieces together, you have to make them stick. This meeting of two pieces of turf, you want it to go firmly together. So you use the turf beater to put things into place. And we have been discussing, why did they use the turf beater and not the roller? But the roller, if it's heavy, it pushes things to the side. This is more, if you use it only from above, it pushes things straight down into the ground. So but this is also a special tool that we only find in international sources, not in Swedish sources. So we don't know. We know that they had lawns, that they created lawns, and that they read the international instructions, the French garden manuals and the English ones, but we don't find these tools in Swedish inventory, so we are not sure that they had the tools in Sweden.
It was, since I've been trying that one, it's also the unevenness of what the grass brought in. I felt it was very useful to beat it to get, because it's a little bit like this.
Yeah.
And when you beat it, they actually evened out the whole, not only the connections, but the whole.
Yeah, yeah. So you beat the whole area.
You beat it, and it kind of evens it out with that.
And I think Loudon, John Claudius Loudon, he says that you cannot be too much or too hard. He even suggested that the beater should be made out of metal, but I think that's kind of a rare fantasy, because then you will get some marks. It will not be working. I think it can be too hard and too heavy, both for the operator and for the lawn. But yeah, it has an effect, definitely. Yeah. So that was just some old tools.